This is the artificial intelligence voice of Stephen Bartlett narrating this pod slice summary of the diary of a CEO podcast. James Hoffman, a former world barista champion and globally renowned coffee expert, serves up an extensively engaging exploration of coffee, its intricacies, and its societal impacts. London's thriving cafe culture is lauded by James, who advises against home espresso machines and emphasizes the rapid decay of coffee post-opened packaging, creating a constant race against time for the best coffee experience. The conversation takes an interesting turn as the intricacies of ordering coffee at Starbucks come into play, with a surprisingly unusual order from James himself generating curiosity on regular coffee consumption. He surprisingly sports an open-minded view, accepting the psychoactive dependency society has universally developed on coffee without advocating for the term addiction. He sheds light on coffee's health benefits and equates it to a valuable part of the diet. Similar to a nutritious vegetable, the overall positive health impact of coffee consumption, according to research, is highlighted, although he does express concern about caffeine addiction and its potential to spiral into an unhealthy cycle leading to poor sleep quality. Taking a more measured approach toward caffeine consumption, James addresses the effects of its disruptive potential on sleep patterns, advocating an early cut-off time for daily caffeine intake. He also discusses the unwieldy ability to track caffeine content in coffee house brews accurately, showcasing the uncertainty faced by caffeine consumers in regulating their daily intake. Finally, he talks about the principle of tolerance in relation to coffee consumption. While a habituation is developed, it doesn't escalate in the same way as it may with drugs, where users need progressively more to achieve the same effect. Viewing his balanced approach, he favors decaffeination periods and promotes mindful consumption of this globally beloved beverage, hinging on the balance between the positive health benefits and the potential downside associated with excessive caffeine consumption. One must find one's sweet spot when it comes to coffee. In the podcast, James Hoffman delves deep into the connection between coffee consumption and health implications, drawing perspectives from his experiences and latest scientific conversations. Discussing sleep deficits, he underlines how disrupted sleep patterns can contravene the health benefits offered by coffee. Thus, he advocates an early cutoff for daily caffeine as a mitigation strategy. A strategic approach to coffee consumption, such as including decaf options, is viewed favorably by James. Quoting a conversation with Tim Spector, James also emphasizes the surprising health benefits of coffee, like its contribution towards gut health and its high fiber content. He shares how the beverage, in measured proportions, has been associated with extending lifespan, reducing all-cause mortality, and even helping in avoiding a few types of cancer. However, he reminds listeners that these are still areas of ongoing research and urges cautious optimism. Hoffman warns against assuming caffeine's benefits towards mental health, especially for those wrestling with issues like anxiety and depression, suggesting they experiment by cutting out caffeine to see if it offers any improvements. He also acknowledges the correlation between reduced cognitive decline and coffee based on several studies. Still, he stresses on the absence of causal evidence linking coffee as the cure. On the topic of decaffeinated coffee, James laments the coffee industry's lackadaisical attitude towards it, despite decaf drinkers being the ones purely consuming for its taste. Expressing his favor for more decaf consumption, Hoffman advocates for the beverage's quality to be improved from farm to cup. Drilling down to the neurological effects, he shares that initial studies show up to 3 cups of coffee can associate with reduced cognitive decline and Alzheimer's, though it's not definitively coffee causing this. Speaking about coffee's impact on brain function, he sheds light on its role as an adenosine inhibitor, which might cause an accumulation of adenosine, intensify feelings of tiredness once the body clears caffeine. As such, he suggests careful consumption, keeping individual health needs and reactions in mind. In the continuation of this insightful discussion, James provides key understanding on the role of caffeine and how its consumption affects brain functions and sleep. He explains how caffeine inhibits the adenosine receptors, leading to an accumulation of adenosine, which intensifies feelings of tiredness after the body clears caffeine, something which may cause crashes and then jitters often associated with caffeinated beverages. We suggest delaying caffeine consumption till 120 minutes after waking to help in the proper clearance of adenosine buildup in the bloodstream. At the same time, he points out how thoughtful products contain safe limits of caffeine, like 100 milligrams, equivalent to a single dose found in an espresso or a small filter coffee. The negative impact of excessive caffeine, he insists, can lead to various problems, including significant consequences like sleep disruption and debilitating crashes. A regular check on the consumption is recommended, considering the longer it takes to clear from the system, the more will remain in your blood during sleep time. Delving into the world of competitive coffee brewing, Hoffman explains his journey from being indifferent to coffee to becoming the world barista champion. He shares his fascination with the diversity of coffee culture across various regions, how it differs from place to place and influences the taste of the brew. The conversation then shifts into debunking coffee myths. Hoffman states that coffee is not merely a bitter experience meant for caffeine consumption, but it holds a range of flavors from fruity and floral to earthy and chocolatey that a user can enjoy. Highlighting the process of coffee preparation from farm level to roasting to brewing, Hoffman remarks on how potential errors in any of these stages can severely affect the quality and taste of the coffee. He emphasizes that understanding certain crucial aspects can help improve the overall experience, even for an average consumer. Conversation concludes with Hoffman differentiating the aroma and taste of various coffee samples, giving keen insights into what to expect from distinct roasts and how they can influence the bitterness and flavor of the coffee. As Hoffman raises the cup, the world of coffee unfolds in yet another sip, and the conversation continues. Continuing the journey into the fascinating realm of coffee, Steve and James delve deeper into commercial coffee culture with a unique taste test. James, equipped with his trained palate, endeavors to identify and rate 5 varying coffees from different high street chains. The results are intriguing as he navigates the range of flavors, profiles, and roast levels. Even here, James underlines the importance of acidity in coffee. When coffee grows in higher altitude, it develops more acidity, which is typically associated with quality. However, this becomes a point of contention for many. Some do not prefer sour notes in their coffee, a factor coffee makers need to consider when brewing. The taste test ensues. The diversity among coffee profiles is evident. Each coffee evokes different notes, aroma, and taste. However, to James' seasoned senses, the variance amongst the coffee chains is not profound enough to distinguish them significantly. Schnelfi, an earthy C and rounds out to be from Costa, while a full-bodied but darker roast one is from Starbucks. He judges that an independent coffee stands apart in terms of flavor and character. Interestingly, an independent coffee shop and Costa offering the same price per cup points towards the need for independent sellers to value their product better, considering their lack of supply chains and economies of scale that big chains enjoy. Shifting the conversation towards his entrepreneurial journey, James shares how he has built and diversified his portfolio of businesses over the years. Starting from a coffee roasting company in 2008, following his World Barista Championship, he stepped into a myriad of ventures like distribution companies, a coffee shop, training businesses, and even a magazine. The discussion then switches to the YouTube business. James' YouTube platform has become an unexpected business venture, providing a unique insight into what people care about in regards to coffee. It has connected him to the broader and deeper interest of people in coffee, from queries on which machine to buy to deeper aspects of coffee making and consumption. The conversation eventually enters the terrain of a practical dilemma to buy an espresso machine or not. Paradoxically, James believes while having a machine at home might seem appealing, the reality of dealing with the messy, slow, convoluted, and frustrating process of making espresso might not be enticing to everyone. It's a hobby, it's rewarding, but might not be the best way to caffeinate oneself. The idea of a perfect Americano or filter coffee brings another layer to the discussion as they continue to explore the intricate yet captivating world of coffee. In the pursuit to solve Stephen's morning coffee problem, James offers a detailed walkthrough of the essential setup wanted for a perfect cup. Surprisingly, James emphasizes the importance of investing in a quality grinder over an expensive machine, explaining that the grinder's precision in cutting coffee into similar-sized pieces significantly influences the brew's taste. He advises investing about PSE1 50 to C100 for a top-notch grinder, which will last a lifetime. Moving in the direction of easiness and quick solutions that technology offers, James admits that the coffee industry is progressing and automation is becoming better. However, due to ample technical challenges, the push-button coffee machines cannot compare to manually brewing a cup. Referencing his YouTube journey, James shares that he uses his channel to help people in their coffee journey by providing them unfiltered and genuine insight into the coffee world, from the right selection of machines and equipment to effective brewing methods. His agenda goes beyond this. Given the climate challenges that coffee production face, James proposes that consumers need to be more prepared to spend a bit more on coffee in the future. Dialoguing about the affordable yet convenient brewing option of coffee pods, James equates it with microwave meals, over-convenience and excessive waste, implying that consumers mostly sacrifice quality for convenience. Taking a trip down memory lane, James presents an interesting outlook on the history of coffee, sharing that it has been a company of political enhancements and a significant influence on societal changes, from transforming London society to becoming the stimulator for industrial progression. The discussion then switches trajectory as Stephen brings up the common assumption about tea lacking caffeine. James confirms this isn't true. Tea does have caffeine, but in much smaller quantities compared to coffee, again emphasizing on brewing factors and how it has an impact. In the continuation of Stephen, Bartlett's and James Hoffman's discussion, James dwells on his preference for filter coffee over espresso. He loves to savor his coffee, enjoying the complex melody of flavors that unfold as the coffee cools. He advises taking a slow 10-15 minute coffee break. It's an opportunity to relax and explore a diverse range of flavors offered by coffees from different parts of the world. If he had to narrow his choice to just one coffee origin, it would be Colombia. James also emphasizes there's no universal preference in the way coffee is enjoyed. While some might opt for milk and sugar, which can inhibit bitterness and enhance sweetness, he prefers his coffee black to experience its true, undiluted flavors. James warns that high consumption of coffee with cream and sugar might decrease its health benefits rapidly. Coffee, not unlike food, is perishable once ground. Its quality is best enjoyed the same day. To maintain the freshness and extract maximum value from a bag of beans, he recommends investing in a good grinder. This way, each brew benefits from that fresh coffee aroma and taste. Looking ahead, James believes the future of coffee is bright despite the looming challenges of climate change that could increase costs. The pandemic increased at-home coffee consumption and equipment sales, proving people's unwavering love for this beverage. James affirms that a decrease in coffee consumption could even be beneficial if it led to increased quality. As for choosing the right place for coffee, in London or any city, James vouches for exploring independent coffee shops, which he says offer unique and delightful experiences beyond those provided by big-name chains. But when forced to choose a chain, James picks Starbucks for their filter coffee, one of the few chains that serve filter and not just Americanos. His pro tip for the best Starbucks experience: check the timers on their coffee tanks for the most freshly brewed filter coffee and savor its unique flavor profile. In this thought-provoking discussion between Stephen Bartlett and James Hoffman, James reflects heavily on his work-life balance. He admits that perhaps his passion for coffee and his business ventures have led him to compromise on personal aspects of life, such as hobbies and relaxation. For James, downtime could feel oddly empty, something he sometimes mourns. However, despite this, he confesses to loving what he does and enjoys that no 2 days are the same. When Stephen draws parallels between the two of them about their passion turning into an obsession, James agrees and highlights the sacrifices he made for his work. The question, "What do you do for fun?" confounds him, as most of his time revolves around work, coffee, home life, and sleep. James conveys the importance of prioritizing health and wellness. He notices himself lying about being more chill, regularly pushing off self-care for the sake of work. He conveys remorse for not taking more time for exercise and wellness, regretting that he isn't as health conscious as he should be. He argues that nothing is more significant than health, however, admits grappling with integrating more wellness-focused time into his already occupied schedule. Moving into career advice, James emphasizes the importance of pursuing genuine interests. His advice to his younger self or the next generation is to explore and discover passion in their 20s and to capitalize on it in their 30s. Reflecting on his journey, James shares how his career took flight in his 30s after winning the World Barista Championship, despite no one initially caring about this accomplishment in the UK. When it comes to success in his industry, James credits his communication skills. He describes how training as a national trainer for an espresso machine company allowed him to hone his public speaking abilities, ultimately improving his communication skills. His final message, James iterates that coffee can be an enjoyable activity, rewarding those who invest a bit more time and energy into it. He enthusiastically encourages people to explore the world of coffee and the different experiences it has to offer. Diving deeper into the conversation, Steve Bartlett and James Hoffman explore their shared enthusiasm for coffee. Steve confesses that his conversation with James has motivated him to embark on his own coffee journey. James, always ready to share his love for coffee, suggests organizing a coffee tasting for Steve, offering a chance to find out what type of coffee he really enjoys. Curveball question disrupts their intellectual conversation, making them both chuckle. It's from Brian Johnson, their past guest, who asked about the duration of their nighttime erections. Both of them laugh it off before they return back to their enlightening discourse. Steve appreciates the elegance of James Hoffman's published books, calling the World Atlas of Coffee one of the most beautiful books he's ever seen. The book is packed with rich photography, extensive history, and equipment-related questions about coffee, making it the ideal gift for a coffee lover. Another book from James's collection, How to Make the Best Coffee at Home, simplifies the process of home brewing to its core elements, breaking down the barriers for anyone interested in creating their personal coffee setup. As Steve puts it, even a novice can understand all this stuff. Addressing the books, James explains they're meant to be guidebooks for those navigating the complex world of coffee. The first book is his attempt to decode the bustling and occasionally perplexing coffee scene, while the second assumes the reader's passion for homemade coffee and simplifies the brewing process, devoid of any complications or befuddling traditions. The interview wraps up with Steve expressing his enjoyment of the inspiring conversation. After some closing words, he directs the audience to Hoffman, a protein bar company he's invested in. The company recently released a bar that is nutritionally complete, offering a healthy and tasty snack, making it a convenient pick for a busy individual. Steve directs the audience to another episode they might enjoy based on similar interests. He concludes by inviting them to tune into the next engaging and insightful episode. Check out the full podcast by clicking the link in the description below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for listening to this podcast summary episode of The Pod Slice.